This scatter plot shows how death rates from disasters relate to GDP per capita. In other words, it's highlighting the relationship between wealth and disaster mortality. On the y-axis, we have deaths per 100,000 people, going from fewer deaths at the bottom all the way to higher deaths at the top. Going from left to right, on the x-axis, we have gross domestic product per person, going from lower to higher. So on this end, we have wealthier nations. On this end, we have poorer nations. And down here, we have fewer deaths. And over here, higher up, we have more deaths. So what do you notice? In the top left, we have countries with low GDP per capita who also tend to have high death rates from disasters. These include Haiti, Afghanistan, and Myanmar. On the bottom right, we have clusters of countries with high GDP per capita, usually showing low death rates, often near zero. These include the United States, Japan, South Korea, Belgium, Ireland, Canada. To summarize this pattern, we could actually draw a line that looks kind of like this, showing an inverse relationship between wealth and disaster mortality. The goal of our lecture today is to explain why this is the case. We're going to focus on how global processes create and worsen disasters. We've already learned that disasters are socially constructed. How humans perceive, prepare for, and respond to hazards differs over time and place. Social inequalities increase vulnerability for some groups. But we've looked at this mainly within Canada. Today, we're applying this lens to a global scale. We'll see how disasters are created, intensified, and distributed by global systems of power. We'll use three interconnected theories grounded in a political economy perspective to understand how disasters are globally produced. We'll look at world systems theory, unequal ecological exchange theory, and treadmill of production theory. In each case, colonialism plays a central role, structuring trade, labor, land, and governance in ways that make some nations and communities far more vulnerable to disaster than others. By the end of today's lecture, you'll be able to use these theories to analyze real-world disasters, trace their systemic causes, and reflect on how justice-oriented design could prevent future harm. Let's begin.